Hi, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today we have two special great guests, and I do mean the word great. We have Rachid Moukhabir. Welcome to America, Rachid. You come from Morocco. You are an American citizen. Thank you for coming to our country, and thank you. Mr. Bill Jackson, thank you. So we have two beautiful veterans community here.
Thank you for inviting us, by the way.
It's a pleasure for Revere TV and the Revere Veterans community to have you both here.
Thank you for your service in World War II.
Thank you. By the way, I started the war. Okay. Okay. A more serious talk. Rachid, I'd like to ask you a question. Absolutely. We went over these before, so you can expand on them. What motivated you to be the founder of Zara Magazine? And I have a copy of it right here. I'm going to give it to you. You can show them what it is.
Absolutely.
And explain it to them. There's two books here. You want
Sure.
to show?
Zara Magazine is a monthly published publication. It is available online and in print, and it is a bilingual. So this side in Arabic and the other side in English. So it's serving both Arabic and English speakers. And what motivates me, to answer your question about what motivates me to establish this magazine, is when the Boston Marathon bombing happened, U.S. mainstream media were talking about it as it was done by the Arabs, but the reality, it wasn't done by the Arabs. And I started digging and looking is there any Arab media that represents Arab Americans in the area. So I couldn't find any. So I talked to some people within the community, and we started thinking seriously about establishing our Arab media here in the region. So that's how we got to publish our first magazine in May 2014. And right now we have published like 6 magazines until now.
You know, I like to say something about that. When I was in World War II, my commanding officer was General Lucius C. Clay, and he said something to me which might be just what you said. He said, do not blame all for the crimes of one, which he meant Hitler, and do not blame one for the crimes of all.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you put in your magazine.
I agree.
Thank you. Would you expand a little more on that?
Absolutely. So the thing is, what we are trying to tell, this is like, we do have like a website, and but what we are trying with this magazine specifically, it is like, it looks like a piece of art, because you have like the Arabic section right here and the English section right here and the meat in the middle. And when you flip it to this side, it looks like it's an Arabic magazine because it's written from right to left, and when you flip it to the other side, it looks like an English publication because it's written from left to right. So by doing this, we are trying to show the world that we are Arabs, but we are 100% Americans. We are Americans, and this is to facilitate integration of the Arab American community within our society. And also we are trying to show the world that we are a very important component of the American society, and we are like everyone else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have another question for you, which I'd like to read to you, Rachid.
Absolutely.
I understand that you not only have a magazine, but also a website. What kind of information can our viewers find on your website, and what is the address of your website? So give them all that.
Absolutely. The address of our website is www.zaramagazine.com. And when you go to our website, the most important thing that you will surprise you is all of our magazines, the previous releases are available on our homepage, and also you will find all social media icons, YouTube icons. We are very active on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. So you will find all the links that will take you to all of this social media infrastructure that we built through the time that we have been publishing the magazine. And also you will find like many articles in both languages, Arabic and English.
Right. What is your website? I mean, can you give them?
Absolutely. It's www.zaramagazine.com.
And how long has Zara been in the publishing?
So until now we published 6 editions, and we are working on the 7th one. But I have been working on it probably before we started our first publication. I have been working for it, like just the planning and all of that stuff for a year.
When was the first publication? About a year?
That was, no, it was like on May 2014.
Oh. And is there a cost or price for the magazines?
Well, actually, the magazine, we give it to our community for free.
Yep.
And if people want to subscribe and, you know, get it mailed to them, they pay like symbolic membership, and they can access it through our website, just like to pay for the delivery, that's all.
Right. Thank you, Rachid.
You're welcome, sir.
Sitting on your right is a gentleman, Bill Jackson. Let me welcome you again, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
And you are a veteran of the community, and really a veteran, because you were in the Peace Corps under President John F. Kennedy. So before we get to that, Bill, you know, Bill, I have to say something to you. I hope you don't take offense to it, but you don't look like an Arab to me, really.
Well, you know, they told me when I was going to come on this show, and I've been on this show before, to watch out for Morris. Where's the camera?
Right there.
You know,
Bill, right there.
I'm a little insulted by he's asking if I'm an Arab. For your information, I'm from Egypt, and my great-great go way back in my family. There were a couple of pharaohs.
The reason I asked you that is because you don't look Arab at all. Okay, seriously now. Now I want to be serious, okay? How and why did you get involved in Zara Magazine? But you was also in Morocco 3 times, I believe?
Yeah, it started when I was in the Peace Corps, which you just mentioned, and I was in Liberia for 2 years, and God help those people today because of this horrible Ebola that's going around.
Was there any diseases like that when you were there, equivalent?
No, there was just malaria. I had 3 students in 2 years that died of malaria.
Oh.
But anyway, so after the first year, we were allowed to take a vacation. But we had to stay on the continent of Africa. So 2 friends of mine and I went to Morocco. And we loved it, especially the people. So then over the years, I went back twice. It's a wonderful, wonderful country. The people there are so friendly. They like Americans. And there's also beauty in that country, especially the ancient city of Fez.
You also went to Tangier, is that correct?
I was in Tangier.
Which is up the northern part of Morocco?
Yeah, and I was on a trip to Spain, and we took the boat across to Tangier. I wouldn't go back to Tangier because there's too many American and European tourists. They can take the boat across, correct, Rachid?
Yes, that's true.
They
For
can
20 minutes, probably.
Oh, it's only 20 minutes. And then they hang around and then go back. So I don't want to go to Morocco to see American and European tourists.
No, you can see them right here in Boston. By the way, since you people are really great community veterans, I'd like to present you on behalf of the City of Revere and the Revere Veterans and Community Service, under direction of Commissioner Nick Bua, a flag for you, Rachid.
Thank you very much, Morris.
This is what
Thank
we
you,
give,
that's an honor.
We give these to special guests.
Thank
and
you.
here to you, Mr. Jackson. Thank
you.
you. And again, thank you for your service, really, because you do a service for the
Thank you very
American
much.
people. You represent us.
Thank you.
Okay, I did my job. I presented the flags. Bill, would you like to expand further on what you were talking about? Or?
No, that's about it. That's how I go. Oh, I would say this. I'm on the Office of New Revere Residents, and I met Rachid at one of our meetings, and I happened to mention I've been to Morocco, so he came over afterward and said to me, would you like to work and help on volunteer for Zara Magazine? I said yes, and it was a very good decision, because working with him is a pleasure.
Thank you.
I agree with you. And I also met Rachid, I mean, a few times, but I also met him when we had the Columbus Day Parade. He was out there working and doing filming for Revere TV8. And let me tell you, if you had to pick any channel, you picked the best one in Massachusetts.
Thank you
Revere
very much.
TV8.
I agree.
And I agree with you, too. We have a terrific rating, and we have terrific guests, by the way, like you, too. Now, the next question, I guess I got to go back to you, Rachid.
Sure.
I hope it's you. What is the average content of your magazine? Politics, culture, and sports. You do a lot of writing on that, too.
Absolutely. Our magazine, since we are the only magazine in the whole New England area, we try to bring diversity to our content. So it's ranging from sports to politics to culture. So we are trying to attract every member within our community, and also the no Arab who are curious about our culture. So we try to diversify our content, and we had writers from around the world that they are emailing us their articles, and we do have also Americans who are writing with us, and Bill Jackson has been writing some great articles about Morocco, about Egypt, about the culture of Arabs.
Very, very good, Bill. By the way, Bill, I just want to ask you a question, if I may. Have you ever been to Egypt?
Yes.
And where did you go? Just give us a little preview.
I went to Cairo, and then I took a trip up to Alexandria on the Mediterranean coast. And by the way, the people there were wonderful.
I worked for an Egyptian when I was in the Holy Land on the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which was teetering and tottering off the edge of the rock, and he was my supervisor there, and he was a gentleman's gentleman. So I enjoyed that too. Mm-hmm. The next question is still to you, Bill, so don't run away. Have you written articles for the Zara Magazine?
I have. I've actually written two. The first one was called Why Not Morocco? And it was an article about sort of letting people know this is a great country. It's a good place to come on vacation, because Americans, I don't think by and large, go to Morocco that much, do they, Rachid?
I think so, yeah.
They
but
come
not
over on
like
that
Europeans.
boat, yeah.
Not like Europeans, but it's still like there is a lot of American tourists.
Yeah. Now, I was all over the country, and Marrakesh, Casablanca, Agadir. The one I liked the best was Fez, which is an ancient city of learning and culture back up away from the coast, and I love that city.
Also Alexandria, which is a great city for learning. They had the biggest library in the world at one time there.
They had the first library in the
first
world.
library?
Yeah. The other article I wrote was on a Lebanese man, Khalil Gibran, who wrote The Prophet. He had come to America, and he was a great writer. He was a great painter. He came actually to the city of Boston, believe it or not. And if you go into Copley Square, right across from the steps of the public library, there's a monument to him from the people of Boston for what he contributed to literature and art.
Before we go to the next question, which is a serious question, I'd just like to throw in a little humor, if I may. Okay. You are bordered by the Sahara Desert, right?
Yes, correct.
On the south of
That's
Morocco.
correct, yeah.
I applied for a job as a wood chopper in California 5 years ago when I was 81. They asked me where I worked. I told them I worked in the Sahara Forest, which is south of Morocco. He says, what did you say? I said the Sahara Forest. He says, what you do there? I says, a chopper. He says, it's forest. It's not the Sahara Forest. It's the Sahara Desert. I says, oh, is that what they call it now?
Actually, the border is Mauritania.
Okay.
Mauritania is the country of Mauritania.
Yeah, it's a Mauri, because they have two spellings for it, M-A-U-R-I, or Mauritania, or Mauritania?
Mauritania.
Mauritania.
Yes.
Oh, good, because my name starts with Mara, so I don't know if I'm named after them or they're named after me. But I want to be serious, Bill, now. This is a sad story that I want to get onto. You two were up in New Hampshire to honor James Foley, who was the one that was beheaded by ISIS. I was not there, but you people were, so let me start off with you, Rachid, first, and then Bill, after he's done, you add to it.
Absolutely. I would like to take this opportunity to condemn the acts that was done by the terrorists. When I got that day a call from a community member trying to organize the visual, so I called Bill and they called like other people to help us with the filming and all of that stuff. So we drove all the way down to New Hampshire and we met with great Syrian American people and a lot of people, residents of Rochester, New Hampshire. They came in to memorize the slain journalist James Foley, who was beheaded by ISIS. and it was a very moving visual. And actually, Bill got to stand up and say something to the crowd. And we got a chance to interview the mayor of Rochester and many residents of Rochester. And also, it was great speakers from the Arab community and the Muslim community. And also, you will find like a lot of speakers from other religions, so all the community at large.
Who they were, those from the other religions? Just, I don't mean not the names, just the religions.
Absolutely, Jewish and Christians, and they were represented by spiritual leaders, and they got to give their speeches, and it was a community at large getting together for a humanitarian act.
I'd like to ask you a question, Rachid. You know, a lot of, including myself, we're not too familiar with Arab culture. We see the women with their faces covered. Is that part of the religion, or is that just part of, like in Syria, they don't cover their faces. In Egypt, they don't cover their, a lot of them do not cover their. Is that just an individual, or is it part of religion?
It is part of the religion.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But, you know, like in any other culture, there is a lot of people, moderate people.
Right.
So some people, they practice it the way it should be. Some people, they practice it 80%. Some people, they practice it 50%. So, and some people, they don't practice it at all. So.
Okay, Bill, same question to you.
Yes, we did go up to Rochester, New Hampshire for the vigil, and it was really put on by Arabs, primarily Syrians. It was a very, very somber thing that we did. The people there were just, and by the way, his parents were there. And what impressed me about it, Morris, was the fact that you had a Catholic bishop, a Catholic priest, a Protestant minister, a Muslim imam, and then some of the people in the audience came up and spoke.
No rabbi was there?
There was a rabbi.
And beside those three, were there other faiths there, like Buddhists or?
I didn't see any Buddhists there. Maybe they don't live up that way. But we had people drive all the way from New Jersey to take part.
Wow, they're pretty good.
And they made it very clear that ISIS stole their religion and that they have nothing to do with it. They detest ISIS. They detest terrorists. And they live in this country, America. And they love this country. And they made that very clear.
Right. You know, people don't realize, but the Arab world, or the Muslim world, I should say, gave us a lot of good things all over the years that they've been around since 600 AD. They gave us mathematics, I believe, and without mathematics, we wouldn't be going to the moon. We wouldn't have the electricity that you see right here. Everything is based on, really, when you think of it, on science and mathematics. And the Muslim, I want to use the, not Arab, Muslim world was very into it at the time, and still are.
Yes, I
So,
agree.
you know, all religions, let me put this, have contributed to the goodness of the world. All of them.
Well, you know, what I've gotten out of working with Rachid is that I've learned a lot of things, Morris, that I really didn't know. Like, what is an Iftar? That is the breaking of the fast during Ramadan. And we actually went to City Hall with Mayor Marty Walsh, and there were a couple of hundred Arab Americans there. And we had Iftar, a breaking of the fast. And they also prayed, and it was really very interesting. The one thing about ISIS that I wanted to comment on, which we probably touched on, is that you cannot blame the entire Arab
That's what I said
community.
before, remember?
Yes, and I want to reiterate that.
Yeah.
Because some people think, oh, these are Arabs, there's one group. No, there's diversity among the Arabs.
Right, exactly.
But the Arab Americans in America that I know, they love it here, they love this country, and I just like to get the message across that we cannot condemn all of them. It's wrong. By the way, it's not Christian.
Yeah.
I'm a Catholic. It says love thy neighbor as thyself,
Right.
for the love of me.
Absolutely. Just to collaborate a little bit on this, there is an article that was written on, it's just a report that I personally wrote it. It's in our September issue. It's about the visual that we were talking about it.
Oh,
and
James
also,
Foley?
Yes. And also it mentioned that the Pope Francis called the Foley's family to speak with the parents and offer his condolences. And also it has, there is like the interview that we did with the mayor of Rochester. So the main message that all of these people came in to say at that time is America is my country, Islam is my religion.
Right.
And also they are trying to say to the world that ISIS does not represent us in any shape or form.
Right. Rachid, I'd like to say something, if I may. Most Americans, this is to you, think that the Arab people are one big group. However, they are very diverse. And how are they diverse? But before you answer that, how are they diverse? Let me tell you, when the Irish came here, they were all Irish in one neighborhood. When the Italians came here, they were all Italians in one neighborhood. When the Hebrews came here, they were all, or Jews as they want to be called, were all in one neighborhood. The Germans, my father, up in Yorktown, New York, all in one neighborhood. They spent it together because of the culture, but after a while they break out of the culture and they become Americanized, really Americanized. So when the Arabs come here, of course they're going to be a little, before they become diversified, they're going to be a little together because they have their mosques, their churches, their imam, whatever you want to call them. And that's for all the groups, so now you can take it.
Absolutely.
But
So-
you know something, Morris? It wasn't with the Irish. It wasn't just because of the culture they got together. It was because they were considered
Boston
to
was
be,
predominantly Irish when I came here 65 years ago.
Yeah, and the reason that they were stuck over there in that one area is because they were considered to be lowlifes and drunkards. Of course, now today they
Right.
it's
Yeah.
a different view.
I hope
So-
so.
I have a beer once in a while, but not too much.
No,
Yeah,
but
true.
the way I grew up in the big city of New York, where the groups stuck together, like the Puerto Ricans stuck together. The South Americans that came from Mexico, they stuck together. Even today, if you go into Los Angeles, California,
Yes.
you'll see the groups, they stick, the new ones that come in, not the ones that have been here for generations. They spread out.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
to answer your question, Morris, the Arab American community, there are religiously, ethnically, and politically diverse. So, and I agree with you, like there are highly concentrated in certain areas such as New York,
Dearborn, Michigan?
Yes, Michigan, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. But you will find them everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing that I would like to say about the Arab American community, it's a select group that they are coming over here either for education. You will find many of them are college professors. Some of them, they came in for business. And also, when I said like politically diverse, some of them, there are Democrats, others are Republicans, certain people of them that are independent, and also the religion is diverse. Like almost every religion, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, are represented in the Arab American community here in America.
Right. We only have about less than 4 minutes, so take a minute to wrap it up, Rachid, and then turn it over to Bill. Go ahead.
I just got to say something about our magazine. When you say it's the voice of the Arab American community, doesn't mean that we are excluding anybody. So it's very inclusive, and you will find our magazine covering other events that has nothing to do with the Arab American community. As you mentioned at the beginning, we were at Columbus Day. We went to other events that has to do with just being human, so you can attend those events. And also the door is open for everyone to join us. And we are trying to facilitate the integration of the Arab American community inside the society and prove to the American society that we are a very important component of the system.
Just mention your website one more time if the Muslim community wants us to reach you, or the Christian or the Jewish or any community.
Absolutely. It's www.zaramagazine.com.
Right. Okay, Bill. It's your turn. Take a minute or so.
Thank you. Well, I would want to speak about, why I'm doing what I'm doing with this magazine. First of all, I enjoy writing, and I've written a couple of articles, and I hope to maybe write another one. But one of the things about Zara Magazine, which Rachid has mentioned over and over again, is that it's not just strictly, Muslim, Arab. In other words, he's trying to reach out to the American people, not just the Arab American people, but to all the American people. And the reason for that is to get the American people to understand what the reality is about the Arabs. A lot of people, because of ISIS, they give dirty looks to Arab people in the street. And the thing is that not all Arabs have anything to do with this. And it's really not fair that they do that. It's wrong. So my presence is to give a presence to the magazine and the website as an American, and I'm glad I'm doing it.
Right, and I want to thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you very much,
You
Morris.
too, Rachid. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you.
Same
and you
here.
too. Now, Rachid, I want to speak to you for 1 minute before I close. You were part of the Columbus Day Parade.
Yes.
Francisco Urena was the marshal
Yes.
from Boston. We have Nick Boer, who's our commissioner in Revere. I hope the next year when we have the Columbus Day Parade in Revere, that Nick Boer will be our marshal. And I hope that the organization that elects the people for the parade picks Nick Boer as their marshal, because that would sort of kind of balance it up. And for the veterans out there, if you are 60 years or over, come on down to our senior center, enjoy it. And let me tell you, we have a lot of good fun down there, good music, good food. When I went there, I only weighed 120 pounds, and that was 4 months ago. Look at me now, I'm a 186, 187, because of the senior food. So come on down, and thank you all for listening. God bless you all out there. God bless you, Rachid, and you, Bill, and especially our great country, the United States of America. And thank you all for listening. Till the next time.
Thank you, Morris.
Thank you, Morris. Thank you very much.
Thank you.